Hi, my name's Matt Johnson, and this is MD Johnson Creative. So, I wanted to talk about the XT3, and that's enough of that. I wanted to talk about the XT3 and whether or not it's still a viable video and filmmaking device in 2023. I believe it is, and I'll show a short video that I've made a little later in support of this. But it's easy in the current day and age to get carried away with gear acquisition syndrome, GAS, when there are so many YouTube influencers making reviews of products, pushing products onto people. That's how a lot of them make their money. There are a lot on there too that are primarily creators that happen to get opportunities to test equipment, and generally they're more truthful with their thoughts on the product. They give their own thoughts. It's not influenced by whoever's given them the product. But then there's a lot on there too that they're getting these products for free on, under the guise of they have to give a positive review, or they will give a positive review regardless of what they think. And they'll make the product seem like it's the be-all and end-all, and you have to have this if you want to make something. At the end of the day, if you want to make video content, you just need an idea, the drive to do it, and something as simple as an iPhone, like what I'm filming this on right now. That will be enough to get you started. Anything else is just bells and whistles and adding little bits and pieces and flair to your end production. So I picked up the Fujifilm XT3 at the beginning of this year, and I sold my X Pro 1 in order to help fund this because I needed something that was going to be more viable for professional photos and videos for potential clients, as I'm trying to get more involved in the creative side of things. I'm an actor and musician as well, but I've always been really interested in photography, and over the last 6 months, I've really been focusing more on videography as well, and that's something that I really want to pursue, as well as my other creative pursuits, just as a great creative outlet and to try and create some great content and experiences. So I've recently written my first short film called Found, which is currently in pre-production. I'm getting things ready to film that later this year. It's a horror sci-fi short film, which then I've got plans to go on and make more after this, but this will be my first venture into that side of things, and I can't wait. I'm gradually building up gear for that purpose. I didn't buy the XT3 for this. However, the XT3 will be something that, I thought for making content in the future, I'd be able to use. So this is one of those things. I've also done a few little commercials and things for some companies, a couple of mock commercials, one of which I'm going to show you today. One that's also won me a job for another company, which I'll be creating a little later this year. And I've done one for a family business, which I'll be able to show you in the very near future as well. Once they've officially released their business and launched the campaign, I'll be able to show the video I created of that, which I'm quite proud of as my first sort of full commercial. So the XT3 I've used for all that so far, and I've found it to be an excellent camera. It's got everything that I need. It's got 4K, 60 frames per second for if I want to keep that high definition and still slow the footage down. Can do full HD 1080p footage. It's the only thing it's missing from modern cameras really is it doesn't have the IBIS, inbuilt image stabilization. but I haven't found that to be a problem so far. I've done a mixture of static tripod shots, and the handheld footage I'd done so far was with a Fujifilm, the 18 to 55 kit lens, which actually has optical image stabilization. So it sort of made use of that for some of the handheld stuff that I'd done so far. I did a wedding where I made use of that, and that seemed to work relatively well. However, for my short film and moving on to other products, I'm making use of Canon ND lenses, which are their old vintage line. I already had a Canon 50mm ND f1.8, which I'd used with my X Pro 1. So I'd held on to that. I'd picked up, because I also do some film photography as well, and as a part of a setup to DSLR scan my own prints at home, I picked up a Canon ND 50mm macro lens because I was just after something that didn't cost too much to do that, and that's actually a really great lens too that will work out well for getting some close-up details of things. And for my birthday last week, my partner Jess got me a lens that I'd been keeping an eye on, which is the Canon 24mm ND f2.8. So today's video is basically it was testing out the XT3 again so that I could show what that's capable of. And also it was just an impromptu video. It was just an impromptu video I made to test out the Canon ND 24mm because I hadn't used it yet, obviously, being a brand new lens to me. So this is my setup. I've got the XT3 rigged up in my cinema rig. I've got the handle, got the screen, just a cheap Feel World screen, which works well. Got the battery. I've got the lens, the matte box. I've got the manual adjustment wheel here as well, which is great. Particularly, I've noticed using it with this vintage manual lens. Didn't work so well with the Fujifilm lens, which is like the fly-by-wire setup. It's sort of not as responsive with those more modern lenses that have the autofocus built in. But when you're using it with a manual focus lens, I found it to be really, really nice. And I've also got on there the Cinebloom 10% filter. Sorry for the banging there, putting that back on the table, which I use just to sort of get a little bit more of that blooming and filmic look to the end result, which I'm after. A lot of that you can do all of that in post, but I like to have just a small portion of that sorted in camera. So it's sort of already a little bit of it is pre-baked into the footage. So the video I'm going to show you today is, just a little sample that I did. I had a product photography booth set up at home when I received this, doing some work for a family business. And I thought, you know what? My partner's got some Impala skates laying around in the hallway there. I'm going to pick those up, put them in here, and it'll be a perfect way to test out the 24mm lens and see how it goes. And this is the result that I got. So I was really happy with that result as just a little unplanned test and mock commercial. And the footage looks great. I filmed that in 60 FPS. and slowed that down by 60% so that given that I didn't have image stabilization in the lens or the camera, I knew that I was going to need to slow this footage down because this was handheld movements to sort of smooth that out just a little bit. There was a touch of image stabilization added in the in DaVinci Resolve for the post-processing, not a lot. But yeah, I thought that worked out really well. And I did, this was my first time playing around with some speed ramping in the editing process as well. Wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close to what I was looking to get. So I'm gonna do some more playing around with that from time to time just to get the results that I really wanted. That was just after watching a quick tutorial on how to do that in DaVinci Resolve. So I thought this would be a good opportunity based on the footage that I'd filmed was sort of all the same, just sort of moving around. I was like, it's going to add sort of something different to it by being able to ramp that speed up and down for some of the different movements and sort of keep a bit more excitement in the video. If I was making that commercial for real, I would shorten it down probably a little bit more again. I'd time a lot more of the movements to the music. I did a vertical cut of this as well. And for the vertical cut, because I didn't film it knowing at the time, okay, I want to frame this for the vertical cut that I'm going to do, I sort of kept it in the wide view. So then once I went to the vertical cut, I then had to change my framing within DaVinci Resolve, which was a bit tedious and annoying. I've only showed you the 16:9 cut here, but I would definitely in the future film it knowing that I was going to be in the vertical reel style and have my product centered at the time that I wanted it so that I'm not having to play around with that in the post-production. The other thing I would do differently, obviously, is cut this in with some other external real-time footage of the skates being put in use. And then that would really sort of tie everything all together. Or even, wouldn't even necessarily have to be that. I would even tie it in with interchanging between different colors, different designs, different laces. Obviously, if this was a real shoot. But yeah, I'm happy with the results. I'm really happy with how the lens looks. I think it's going to be great. I'm definitely going to pick up another Canon lens that I'm looking at the ND 85mm as my next lens, and that'll really round out my collection then, I think, for my short film and for other products that I want to look at. And it's just lenses that have a bit more character than your standard, Fuji lenses, or, for your other brands, your other straight lenses that are just don't have any character and they're just sharpness. So having some character built into those lenses can work out well, as long as you test them, of course, first. But yeah, that's it for today. In summary, yes, the XT3 is a great camera. It's still a great camera in 2023. Do not hesitate to pick one up if you can get a hold of one. There's no need to, spend, twice the money or more on other cameras if you're just starting out. This is something I'm going to have to upgrade it down the track as I get more involved in this. But it's perfect for learning on. It's going to last me a while, and I'll continue to use it even after I upgrade to another camera as like a B camera. So yeah, I hope this video was slightly informative. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see in the future. Have you got an XT3? Are you thinking about getting one? Or have you got the Canon ND lenses? What do you think about them? I'd love to have a chat about it in the comments. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Roll out with a bit of music. See you next time.